Hey, how's it going, friend? Decided to give you a little video email real quick. Sorry I didn't get back to you earlier. I was just working and stuff and a lot of stuff going on, but you asked me about where I got my information or what books I read. And I mean, most of the books I read were like from Hatsumi. Have you ever read anything from Dr. Ha Lung? He has a couple different books, and then I've watched different specials on ninjas. There's just specials like on the History Channel and stuff. And I'm at work right now. I don't have any of my books with me, but I can send you another one of I can show you all the books that I read. A lot of them are like from Ha Lung. I read some by Ashita Kim. I don't know if you've heard of him. Different books like there's the Four Gates. It's more of a spiritual one, but basically, I mean, from what I read from a lot of these different books and stuff and documentaries that I've watched, what I was led to believe that most like ninjutsu started like in China, but it wasn't ninjutsu. It was just it was just a martial art, the Lin Kuei or like the Chinese assassins. That's what they practiced, and then once their dynasties fell, then they started getting the hell out of there because their dynasty fell, so they spread out all over Asia. Maybe go to Korea, maybe teach some Korean guys or something, and maybe just go to Japan right away. I'm pretty sure something like that happened, and then the mountains of Koga and Iga were notorious, from what I've read anyway, of kind of harboring people from other countries, like Asian countries like Korea, China. If dynasty fell, they moved over there. Koreans, they were escaping whatever, they went over there. And then same thing in Japan, they didn't want to live in the regular society, so they went into the mountains, whether they were thieves or bad men or whatever, people, it was kind of like, a place where all these people met up and trained and studied, and there were samurai houses or samurai clans in that area, not up in the mountains where they were, but like in that small area down there, I guess, I don't have a map with me right now or anything, but that's just from what I read. Like I said, I'll get the other books later. But samurai clans down there in that region, close with them, maybe sent dudes with them to train, or a lot of people were samurais or monks, mountain warriors. My point is that all these guys got together, all these different forms of martial arts. They started training, and I'm sure it became a stylized form of martial art around the 15th, 16th century, and then they had their own system. But all that time, it was just, experimenting, living out in the woods. They all knew like the code of Bushido, so they used it against the samurais, and it was more, it was like they took like a lot of the principles from Sun Tzu's Art of War, and they used them, especially the espionage and the sabotage and the assassination. They realized that, instead of just sending a whole army into your front door and trying to chop down the door, it could be more effective to send somebody skilled in these arts to sneak in there, grab plans for a castle, or assassinate a general, something like that, instead of, sacrificing half of your men just to accomplish something. But that's just like my overview on ninjutsu. I think that there's different clans. There was different clans that pretty much were the same, but they had different styles. I think that maybe like Minoru Yagyu, they say that he was a samurai. But if you look at the history of Minoru Yagyu, he was head. He was not only the head samurai, the master samurai, showing everybody how to sword fight, but he was also head of the secret police. Now, secret police, what the heck is that? That's the ninjas, that's the ninja. So he was in charge of all them too. And then his son, Jubei Yagyu, now everybody figured that he was a samurai too, but he trained with the ninja. you know. So I mean, you know, that's a mixed form of martial art right there, you know, or monks or whatever, you know. I mean, I think some clans were probably leaning towards more like of a samurai family, but they were ninja. And some clans, I think they're probably more like mountain monks or something. And because I mean, they all had different disguises, you know. Some of them disguise themselves as samurai. We're better to disguise yourself as a samurai, you know. Nobody's going to mess with the samurai. And if they do, then they're really skilled. But, I mean, most of the time, no one's going to mess with you. You got your sword, you got your weapons right there ready to go. And nobody questioning you about that, especially if you're skilled, you know. But you have to know how a samurai acts. You have to know, you know, they might even pretend they're all samurai. And then there's clans that might even just have their whole cover as priests or mountain monks or whatever the heck you call them, you know. And that is their cover, you know. I mean, you're a priest, so instead of the other way, somebody not messing with you because, you know, they think you're a formidable fighter, you're a samurai, well, they're not going to mess with you because they think you're a holy priest or they think you might be weak or something, but that was their cover, you know. They had their swords hidden, they had all that stuff, you know. So I kind of think that's kind of basically how it was, you know. They were kind of different like that, especially when Ieyasu Tokugawa had his own ninja, you know. I mean, they were all their cover were either samurais or they were like gardeners or something like that. But most of them became bushi, you know, noble warriors. So you know, that's something to look at too. You know, whether their style was ninjutsu, they had to pretend like they were samurai. They had to know samurai arts, you know, or they had to know how to act like a monk or how to fight like a monk, you know. That's what I think it was, you know. But you know, you can agree with me or not, you know. But just from the different books, you know, that I read and stuff, that's what led me to believe what I'm saying right now, you know. Different people from all over came together, different forms of martial art, and you know, it took a couple hundred years for them to actually turn it into their own martial art. Because I mean, you think, you know, Japan is notorious from, you know, borrowing or stealing different cultures, like China, you know, like the way that they build their houses or different martial arts, Kenpo or Kempo, whatever you want to call it, you know, it was from China, or it was Kung Fu first and then they brought it and then they made it Japanese. That's what I think ninjutsu is, you know, they made it Japanese, you know, different cultures, different ways of fighting and everything. You brought it to Japan. Eventually, most of these people are Japanese, you know, whether they're Korean or Chinese descendant or whatever, you know, after a couple hundred years, they're all the same, you know. And they have to know that the culture of their land to be able to mingle in there, you know. If their cover is a musician, then they better know a musician, and they better, you know, what a musician does, what he acts like, and what he's, you know, better be able to sing, you know. Or if you're a samurai, if you're posing as a samurai, then you better be able to fight pretty darn good like a samurai. Or if you're posing as a priest, well, then you have to have a pretty good knowledge on, you know, religion and how a priest acts and everything like that. So I think all that is a martial art. It goes into their style and everything like that. Maybe some clans just had all the mix of everything in there, you know. But some of the 9 schools of the Bujinkan, they say that one of the schools is more into espionage than actually having a fighting system, you know. All the schools are together. I mean, isn't that like a form of mixed martial arts? When they teach you Bujinkan, they're teaching you all these different techniques from all these 9 different schools, and you really don't start studying them individually until later on. But that's what they're doing. They're showing you all these different techniques. They're kind of taking their favorite or the best, whatever you want to call it, techniques, and, you know, putting them all together, and that's what you learn. So, in my view, it's kind of mixed martial arts. It's the first form of mixed martial arts. You know, just because all I got to do is learn Bujinkan and then go off and then call it something else, and it's ninjutsu, you know? So, that's my view on it. You can agree with me or not, but thank you for watching, and thank you for listening, and I appreciate you getting back to me. And sorry I didn't get back to you sooner, all right? So, have a good one, and thank you.